do the oh, now it's being recorded. And hello, everyone. My brother Levi Isaacs is the owner of this company, and he's unfortunately out of town, so I am going to introduce the company a little bit. My dad started this business in urban Kentucky, Richmond, surrounding counties in 1980. And then my oldest brother, Delbert Isaacs, took it from him at some point when it was time to retire and made it into more of a commercial and residential business. They have worked on a lot of UK properties. Some of the ones in particular was the MIK library. He's done a lot of copper work and metal work. It's roofing and sheet metal. Today we're going to focus more on residential or teak wood. I'm not going to talk about roofing at all, but the history is it's a family-owned company. My brother Levi took over after Delbert went out of the business, and my brother and my father have both passed, so it's just me and my other older brother. I'm the baby by far. So he took it over and he's been thriving ever since. He's now locally in Lexington off Commercial Drive. He helps me constantly with repairs that I need, quick responses. We all make a roofer on standby for things, and they handle gutters as well. So all things roof related. And he's my first help. So with that being said, I am going to pass it over to Keith, his main salesman, and let him do his job.
So my name is Keith Marcos. As you probably tell, I'm not from around here. I grew up out west, doing a lot of other things, and now relocated in Kentucky. I've been with Isaac's Roofing really since the first time. I worked with Doug, her dad, when I first got high school. I wasn't really much of a student. I'm gonna make some money. But and then now I'm back with the company, what, how many years later? We like the Sierra was saying, we take care of shingles, metal, copper, slate. We took care of the tape of the building. We're an Owens Sporting preferred vendor, so we can offer warranties, extended warranties also. They've trained us to do the roofs properly. So one of the things that I was going to kind of point out mainly is when you're selling to, or when you're having a customer that is needing or buying a house, and the house has a terrible roof on it and they want it replaced. There's a lot of companies out here in Kentucky that can, come from the garage and be like, hey, we can put a roof on and take care of it really cheap. And then you have your customer with a new roof, but there's no warranty back behind it. It's put on incorrectly because they don't have the proper training. So some of the items that we have that are important are, number one, to get a warranty through Owens Sporting, even just their standard warranty without anything standard, you have to have 3 items of accessories to qualify for that warranty. Then this is the biggest one that what people don't use. It's called the starter strip. It goes at the eave, which the eave is the bottom where the gutters are. And what it does, it adheres the shingles to that to help create the problem where we have in Kentucky with wind uplift. And that's where if that doesn't go, then you're going to have terrible wind uplift because it catches up underneath the shingles and then so on and so forth. We do also a lot of standing seam metal. People seem to be really wanting that a lot more. It's a higher end roof. It comes with a 50-year warranty from the manufacturer. Ours is about a 10-year warranty. And so show you that.
Here, I wanted to show some of the pictures of what you all have been doing with residential and copper work, which I thought this one was gorgeous. Oh,
no, you're fine.
There we go.
Which one are you showing?
This one right now.
Yes, that's over off of Chinaway. That's right on one. That's actually 123 Chinaway. I don't remember. So it's got the copper. This is copper standing seam. This was a terrible roof because all the different facets creates problems for leaking, leak path, and then this here is actually a dome. So it had to have what's called flat seam copper. which is very complicated to do, and not very many people are able to do it.
How old is that house?
Brandon. They actually, there was a house here, and then this here had to be all hand formed.
Which Levi has the ability to, and I'm not like exactly sure how it works, but he's got the ability to, with metal, fabricate, yes.
So we're an ES1 certified, oh goodness, ES1 certified fabricator, metal fabricator. And so we have a computerized brake at the shop. So all of the, like this is custom made for, actually every part of this is custom made for this house. So they come and get the measurements, put it on the brake, which bends the metal. It has the program in it. So technically, you don't have to be educated very well to do it. Not necessarily, because it's like here, look over the metal, bends it, and so that's the easy part of it. But which creates it to be almost error-free. So if I go and do it, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be 6 inches here, okay, I gotta measure here, and then I gotta measure over here, make sure it's in there, not get it crooked, make it so it makes it a whole lot better quality roof.
And the difference now with how materials are so far behind, why this is like useful for us as realtors is that they don't have the time of waiting on a part, like any kind of metal fabrication that needs to happen, if that be drip edge, if that be, right? That would be, that would be something that he could do in shop. So it wouldn't take 3 weeks.
There's a lot of times that we actually take care of metal for other companies because of that factor. And like
The life on there.
this one, the copper, forever. Just about. I mean, really, truly, short of a tree falling on it, it's most likely not going to go.
And you chose copper, is that because it was so flat there?
That, well, in that section, no, that could be your fine. In that one section that was there,
Yeah.
the copper was because the homeowner wanted. Really and truly, copper is great because you can solder it for the flat. In the metal, it's not any different than a standing seam metal. It's still going to have. So what standing seam is? I should have brought some information. Well, here. It's standing seam has no exposed fasteners. So you'll see these roofs that you see the screws on.
Yeah.
That's barn roof. And there's the metal's fine. It's what's called 29 gauge metal. So it's thinner. Standing seam is typically 24. And it's all hidden fasteners. So what happens is, I'll grab this. So what happens is on those panels, on this panel, here is the rib. So this is what's called the pan, and then this here is the rib. This comes over and has a piece of metal that comes up. This one comes over top of it and lifts over, and underneath it, on this, when it comes and we have clips that go along, they're going to be 2 feet that screw onto the decking. So that holds it that way. There's no penetration to water.
The difference in warranty is a 10, what is it?
10-year labor warranty, 50-year manufacturer material warranty.
Where the lifetime, sorry.
I just have a quick question on, so when you're putting on a metal roof rather than a traditional roof, is there a lot of that you need to do more to support the existing roof or that kind of thing?
No, so we tear off the original shingles. We put, and so with all these, we put what's called a high temp ice and water shield. It's a sticky membrane, self-adherent, that also is reflective for heat. Anyways, so if you pull this back,
That's sticky.
and so it sticks to the roof, and basically that also, there's some of these products, these ice and water shield stuff. They claim, the company, for example, one Shark Skin, they claim to have a 5-year warranty with nothing on the roof. You can put that on the roof, go away for 5 years, and it'd be fine. I personally wouldn't do that. Most of them have a 30, 60, 90 day because the sun, and Kentucky, we get the best and the worst of everything. You know, we get great weather, we get absolutely terrible weather. So that's doesn't. But then, other than that, The metal it doesn't need extra support. It's actually, I don't know if it's lighter, but I know shingles are 240 pounds per 10 by 10 section. Yes, and I just recently did a roof. We had 3 layers of shingles and then that D-rib with that exposed fastener metal on top of that. So it was, I think, 1,200 and something pounds per square, which is terrible for your rafters, and that's where you see a lot of these houses.
Yeah, I was, actually, this is my mom is wanting to get something done, and we've been talking about different things, so I'm planning.
Information is king.
Our roof's been replaced twice, and it still leaks in the same part. So I have a house that was built in 1912.
18
Yeah, then they added on to it,
Uh,
and then they added on to a garage. Like where these add-ons
so
are,
typically your
we
flashing.
can't find, yeah, it's, yeah. And my husband was even a roofer in Vegas. I mean, he's like, look.
Oh,
Yeah, a long time ago, and he did like the high rise, like flat tar you pour out.
that's
you know.
old school.
Yeah, old school, and, 1,000-degree buckets, and, we get
Yeah.
salted and burnt, then to do it at night, so it's hotter than that. So it's still, it's different, and he did a lot of shingle, but he's not done it for 20 years, so we need to do something. So, there's no tie-in that you're like, nah, we can't roof that, and you can get it where it doesn't leak. We've replaced it twice in 10 years,
in 10 years.
Yeah.
Twice.
because it keeps leaking. And it ends up being
So
an
it
insurance
sounds-
claim a lot of times and now we have it again, we had a storm come through and it ripped off a lot of the shingles and the whole, what's that that metal, the
Ribbon.
fascia,
Oh, fascia metal.
the fascia metal, all
where
that
the
just got
gutter
ripped
is,
off, yeah. So I can claim it, I haven't done it, yeah, I can claim it on insurance again, but then I don't know, they're not gonna do metal and they're not gonna.
They might run
No.
into, if
So-
it's recommended by the roofing company.
There you go.
That has to be a custom made part, and then you show the history.
Which brings us to another point is, so really and truly, I don't do a lot with insurance.
Yeah.
I'm now kind of getting into that because insurance is like trying to understand Hebrew and
Yeah.
Arabic mixed in with a little bit of Spanish and Italian. And so we're so busy that we don't chase, insurance leads, but I try to help out and like I've met adjusters.
Well, like our insurance, I'm not sure how that works. Our insurance would just, pay us, we pay you kind of thing.
Yes,
but-
well, some, which that's typically the thing.
Yeah.
So just recently I had to do one where I had to show proof to the bank, had to show proof to the insurance, had to show proof to God and,
Yeah.
Mother Mary. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the process, I think. So one of the things also, like you were talking about, this is a little bit of an upgraded shingle. It's really not that much more than the standard, which is called Oak Ridge.
Mhm.
And the biggest part is this right here. It's thick, it's a nylon fiber that the nail nails into, so it holds it a whole lot more. It provides a 130 mile per hour wind uplift warranty rather than the 110.
Mhm.
Really, truly, and I mean, it'll work.
A little jerking.
It's insurance is like it better.
Yeah.
Exactly. Does anybody have any questions also? I can ramble on about nothing forever.
I was gonna say the difference in, well, I was trying to say earlier, but I said the wrong word, was that the life expectancy of a D-rib metal roof, which is where you have a metal roof with
Oh,
exposed
yes.
fasteners, is about 10 years. Whereas a sheet metal roof is 50, and then a shingle roof is 25 to 30 typically. So that's like your low, high, these are your ranges of different roofs you can have.
And one of the biggest issues with those D-rib roofs are those exposed fasteners. You poke a hole through metal.
Yeah.
The only thing you have protecting yourself is what's called a neoprene washer. And here in Kentucky, we have like the cold and then the heat, especially even in winter, we'll get, 30 degrees, then we'll be at 75. And what that does, that expands and contracts that metal and then creates that screw to back out just a little bit. And we've created that leak point. And so they recommend on those for you, and I install them. I try to give the homeowner information because you have to inspect that roof yearly for those screws. Otherwise,
You don't do that? I didn't know you did.
we do
that.
because people want it, and so I hate to talk bad about things, but I try to give them and like it's not a bad roof. It's just one that you're going to have to maintain constantly. Really, and truly, it's made for barns.
Yeah, so that's what you put on the barn, because it don't
And
have.
it's a great accessory for like interior or ceilings inside. It looks great. We got that farmhouse look, but I wouldn't put it on my roof or anything. I would like, I actually just roofed my house. I get a discount. I want to do the standing seam, but it was not feasible at the time because I'm doing 8,000 things to my house. And I was like, shingle roof, I will not put that deep in or anything. Because
So
number one,
we get to see the family discount.
sure. We put it everywhere. I really don't get a discount. I like to throw that in there to make it sound like, okay, so anyway, does anybody have any questions at all? Is there anything that, you have run across? One of the things, like when you guys are looking at houses, the biggest leak points that you're gonna see that will most likely have issues are when in the, hold on, bud. No. So right here, all of those are called valleys. Those are key. And then if there's a chimney almost always leaks. I mean, if it's
We have
not,
8 chimneys.
yes.
Our house is built 1812,
Yes.
the way we still eat. And I just don't think it was done right, because I think the guy that did it last time was like, well, he fell off the roof because he was on drugs.
That might be the first problem.
Yeah, and so I don't think he did it quite right. It looks, it still leaks in the same exact spot.
So you probably need either good flashing, proper flashing.
Yeah.
that's key, maybe even in an area that ice and water shield, that's good. On my roof, I put that on my entire roof, because what happens is, so if my shingles leak, it's gonna hit that ice and water shield and just run under, it'll run underneath the roof and out.
And
into the
out,
gutter
because
again.
what it's doing is where the seam is, like where they joined the two build-ons or whatever they did, where they added on. I mean, you know where it is because it's coming out of the same room. I mean,
And
I've
a lot
got
of times-
drywall coming down now.
Water will also, so let's say you're leaking here, it
Yeah.
can be leaking.
Oh, yeah, that's what
from-
John said. He says, it's gonna find its way. Just because it's leaking here doesn't mean the whole thing. It could be, way over there.
Exactly. And another thing, like Sierra was saying, we do gutters. We also do siding. We also, like, I have a guy pointing a chimney right now. And what's the other thing? When you do brickwork, masonry.
Masonry. Now,
So-
if a client needs an estimate, you guys come out and do that. Like, if they look at the roof and it's like lived its life, it's 20 years old, they know they're gonna replace it, but they purchased that home.
We will do
In
free
the
estimates,
inspection period, you'll come out and do it. Okay.
even if it's 10 years old. Even if, we'll do not free inspections.
No. I mean, you gotta, yeah, I know what you mean.
And, really, especially if, we develop a relationship also, I will do a little extra a lot of times because, sometimes and sometimes you need some help with stuff and it's like, well, the customer doesn't want to spend another, I know how a home inspection, but they have it, I don't know, now I charged 500 and something when I did it, and I'm sure now it's probably 700 and something.
Yeah, so it's like the house.
I've sent them some pretty rough clients.
Oh my gosh.
I've done one 350, I'm
It's
seeing
not
like
that way, but my most difficult and most like
Oh,
A type personality clients were like, I need a new roof, who do you send? And I'm like, Keith, because I know Levi he just doesn't have patience to deal with it.
Levi has
He'll
no
run them
patience
off.
whatsoever.
He can run things and he knows what he's doing, but so he does work very well with my clients and they're very difficult. So
Yeah.
I can.
well, my husband's just, I'm not, we kind of balance each other out.
Well, normally I'm more difficult, but when it comes to business, I've had my own business. I've known Levi since he was 12. I worked for his dad, and they were the first people I met when I moved to Kentucky.
They just got in trouble.
No, I got Levi.
At least he's not-
I grew up in Vegas.
Oh, my God, oh, shoot.
And we moved out here from Vegas, and I was like, I hate Kentucky. What the heck? Why are we? Nobody's wearing shoes. What's going on?
You went to like Irvin.
Yeah.
You came to the hollers.
Yes, and no joke, it was January. The first person I see going into Urban, when we cross that bridge downtown, the courthouse, there's an older gentleman. What are those things called?
Like,
Overalls.
oh, overalls. They was like white
It's in January. Overalls, no shirt.
No.
No shoes.
No.
No, he doesn't always wear shirts.
He always wears.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So you say you give free
Estimate.
estimates,
Yes.
but you don't do inspections. So if you come to give me an estimate, how you gonna tell me if I need this roof
Well,
now?
it
Or
depends on the
not telling me
inspection.
if something's wrong with
So basically, I can look at a roof and tell you it needs to be replaced usually. But if you're wanting like an inspection report so that I have to go, I don't really get on roofs. I use a drone most of the time. It depends, like if it's a normal size roof, I'm kind of older and fatter and
Well, normally he sends his foreman up, if it's
And I'll
a
do that
repair, if it's like,
Yeah.
hey, what work needs to be done? Then he'll send Randy or, what's his name?
no, Randy's not with us. Wes,
Wes,
Randall,
Randall. I
Randall,
love
yes,
Randall. That's why
Randall
I
and
list
Wes.
that. They're like a little duo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he would say, it just depends. I mean, if you're looking for some estimates on, okay, it needs to be replaced, but then if you need a special repair to be done, and they need to talk.
Or full inspection, where they're writing everything out, and doing a report, that, I understand, that's the hard part, you can look at something and go, yeah. I can
There
fix
are
that.
times that at the same time, because, you know, it's like, all right, this is gonna happen, we're gonna do this, and can I get a report so that we can, speed this along or get the information that the seller needs or whomever it needs it. I do it also. We won't tell Levi that, even though this is apparently gonna be on their YouTube. But really, truly, my job is also to make your job easier within reason, obviously, because, we work together as a team also and trying to get you making money, the homeowner getting something, that they can get their house sold and somebody coming into a house that's not much problems. But, so we can work a lot of things with that.
How far you behind if somebody needed one done next week?
Typically, the biggest issue is supply. So right now, supply is getting very, very thin. Normally though, with labor, I can usually get a roof done within a week. Obviously, depending on the roof, obviously, depending on Kentucky. But it's like I have 3 right now that are waiting. They were ready to go, and so typically, like we did one actually, and we take care of really pretty much the entire state. I went all the way down to what's up town called Albany, Kentucky, which is by Tailhaul Lake, right next to Tennessee. And 2.5 hour drive. It was a big house. It was 12 pitch, and it took the guys 2.5 days to do one like that. Normally, normal roof, 1 day, tear off, put back, and
Really?
Yeah. And we really try to pay attention to one of my biggest pet peeves is I want to leave the house at least as it was. I don't want to, we try not to damage plants and stuff like that where we're aware of that, and also cleaning up because I can't stand, I've got 2 kids, granted one's 15, one's 6. So my 6-year-old would, find all the nails and, try to puncture people's tires, but that's how she is, but animals also, because, I know Sierra's a big pet advocate. When dogs go outside, they can step on those nails. So we really make an effort to clean up for the homeowner also.
That is a real big problem. I don't know. I've looked after plenty of roofers that like hundreds.
That's the sucky part. That's really the most terrible part of doing the roof is cleaning everything up, because those nails are, yes, and then.
The last time I had my roof, they had like a metal detector out there.
Yes.
And they like no nail.
That's the way I want it to be.
You have your cars?
Yes, in the truck.
Okay.
I need some products.
Yeah, you'll need some.
And by the way, all this you guys can keep. Heck, you can keep all this if you want.
I don't think, I don't know. She's still. But
Yes.
what is
Yeah,
that?
that is you, not you. That's us. Excuse me. I technically kind of.
Oh, this is all your.
Yeah, so that's all of our testimonials, and so on and so forth of what we've done, what we can do.
Interesting.
Inside.
Every now and then, I get 2 brain cells that go together and they.
Oh my God, I love that with my.
Yes, no, absolutely.
So you did that, does that include like the
Yes,
cover for it?
yes, that is great. Yeah, and we use.
Got ripped off in this last storm.
It probably was terrible gutter screen. This, the one that we use, if we screw it into the top, it's a thicker gauge metal. And so, because there's a lot of them that are terrible, they just kind of lay in there and flat, and they really don't protect from the leaves. I have, on my house, I have 2 pieces of equipment. Don't get around to it.
The way our house is you basically have more.
So it's a hip roof. So you have
Exactly, because there's another dimensional.
a little, yeah. So yours is basically a nonstop gutter. Which can be, I just put gutter on my house last year, well, new gutter, excuse me.
Mhm.
And it's 6-inch. I don't have a really big house. I have 1 tree in the backyard. And this spring, water was flowing over like a waterfall. I'm like, there's no way. Well, sure enough, both sides were clogged. And
Yeah. I actually think that we probably jumped off better. Yeah. Because they're small and like, it's a lot of water coming off and there's one here, one here, one here, one here. And I think there's only like.
there may not be enough. Ooh, wow, yeah. If you've got all the hip.
Yeah, and I'm like, I have to go back to count because I just kind of was thinking about this the other day. You know how you get this idea in your head, you go, like, how many count? And like, but it's, I think we do need more.
And so with kind of like with that question also, I'll give you guys all my cards, I'll give you some extras, you guys throw them on a plane, whatever. If you have questions of anything, just, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, shoot me a call. I do not answer my phone that often because I'm doing stuff like this or I'm with the customer, but text and email is great.
Yes.
So, and really
I
enjoy.
hate when I text someone and call me. Well, with a client does.
I like calling only because like my texts, I have a feeling that I text improper or it's not improper, it just doesn't.
It's very matter of
I can
fact.
speak.
Like he's a very bubbly person. You'll get a lot more from Keith if you call him.
There's times where I have a lot to say, I'll just call
It's
them.
the same with.
But typically,
Yeah,
you can put it in the text, don't
Yeah.
call me, don't call me.
like my texts are, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll check.
Okay.
I'll say,
I'm kind of saying, like, sometimes I'll send a message. and I'm like,
Indeed.
"Oh, crap," I'm
Yeah.
like, good morning. So I didn't
It's a
start-
GM right there.
Not lying. I will, hear I'm walking up almost in tears.
GM, I abbreviate a lot. I forget I got these old people, but I'm old, I'm over 50, but I'll put something on there like, let me know, LMK, and they're like, what's LMK?
I wrote
Me.
I can get my point across better by talking on the
Yeah,
phone, but
it's true, we're trying to
texting
sell.
is great.
Yeah, but
because-
sometimes I text and it changes what I want
Yep.
to say.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
when I send it, and then I go, ooh, then I can't get it back.
I've
No.
said something.
You gotta check that.
Siri has highlighted me to very inappropriate.
Guys, one time, I was mortified. I said, I'm sending you docs, but it's spelled dicks. To a client, and I didn't check, and I sent, they weren't,
Any other
luckily
questions?
they lied.
Not, like I said, I can talk forever.
I'm sending dicks, I didn't even say you.
Do we have any on this thing here?
Yes, I love it.
Send the bag of
Is
dicks.
there anybody to take us?
So there's a.
Oh.
channel.
I did Lexington chick through.
Oh, they-
Because
yeah.
Jared was talking and chick crew and I was like, oh my.
All right,
Yeah, I think it's.
so it looks like no one has questions. Yes.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
And go on YouTube.
I forget we're recording. I can't shut my mouth. Hey, before I go either, just put the
Yes,
duct tape up on my list.
just one?
And then there's one on the other side of
That's
the
not-
garage, which is a 2-car garage. And then there's one in the, 2 in the back.
And do
It's
you
not.
mind if I steal that?
Also, I'm showing my videos and I can pictures.
And it is not, it is not a very big.
And that's 5-inch gutter.
In my house.
So that's small gutter, that's a huge room. Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, you're, with that,
The
even
builder
if you didn't have anything,
apparently does.
if you didn't have it blockage, it will.
So my insurance, I State Farm.
And it's a lot of weight
And they won't,
for it to carry.
they
It's
won't
not being-
replace it, so I got quoted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was yours.
I had an Apple Watch for a while and I would be with customers and they're like, if you need to go, I'm like, no, it's just just messages.
I haven't.
Like, yeah. Now, because that's one of the things that I've been concerned about, because there really is,
But,
there's only, I think, or more maybe 5 downspouts for.
So typical, not really. I mean, it's been in my drawer for 5 years. I am ADD really bad, so I just kind of go and do, and I plan real quick, and then I forget it all and go on.
So where are the cards?
I'm gonna go get them. I'm gonna go get 'em.
Okay, so Bobby's out. You know we got an election coming up, we gotta. So I'm running for director again. So when the time comes, I would appreciate your votes.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, we are going to wrap up the Zoom. I think they're going to just do some discussion here in the office. So yeah, if you have any more questions, you can reach out and let Keith know. And yeah, I personally have them work on my own roof, so I definitely suggest them. So we're going to end the Zoom right there. Thank you.